Pats Nation, what is going on? It's your boy Colby, also known as Patriots Global, here with my boy Rob from House Call. As always, here to break down another New England Patriots game for the 2024 season. We are going to be here all season long, just like we were last week, just like we're here this week. We are going to be here for every single game to break down what we saw. And in my voice, you guys can tell, one, it's a little raspy. We were screaming during the live watch party. It was absolutely insane. So I appreciate you guys for being there and everybody that showed out for the overtime game. But Patriots lose. Patriots lose in a game that realistically they should have won. And I know that we were, not the favorites to win the game. Everybody doubted us yet again. And even me, I projected the Patriots before the season to start that they were going to lose this game, but then I came back after the week one win against the Bengals, and I said, with the momentum that they're carrying, they might be able to win this game, and I did take the upset. And again, it just sucks because this is a game where they should have won. And Rob, we saw the Patriots shoot themselves in the foot so many times last year, where they should have won another really 8 games if they just played good football, like didn't shoot themselves in the foot. And it was very, very kind of reminiscent to some of the things that we saw last year. And I think that's what's a little bit hard. It'd be one thing if the Patriots lost this game in blowout fashion, but it's another thing to where you should win the game. It comes down to the wire and you just do stupid things to where you hurt yourself. But Rob, how are we feeling today?
Like someone hit me with a truck. It goes to show you that this game really is a game of inches. Like it just play calling here or there or penalty here or there just decides the whole damn game.
Yeah, and real quick too, just want to apologize to you guys for being a little bit late. I had to do a couple things for Roundtable and get a couple things uploaded. We did just upload all of the final scores with the top player from each team over on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to be doing that after every single game for the NFL season this year. So if you guys want to know what were the final scores for each of these games that weren't the Patriots, make sure to follow Roundtable on Instagram and Twitter. But shout out to Michael. He's I was gonna say Falcons fan, excuse me, a Seahawks fan, different bird, my bad. But you were in there for our preview of the game, and obviously we had different opinions on it, but you showed a lot of love. And you know what? I said exactly like either way, I said the Patriots win or lose this game, it's gonna come down to the wire, just like these games always do. It's going to be a fun one. And you know what? Like I said before, and I still say it, these games are fun. I love playing against the Seahawks, win or lose. I feel like they've had our number in recent years, but that's okay. We had the big one. That's all that matters. But Seahawks fans, so respectful. Your fan base, your organization, so much respect for the fans there and so much respect for that organization. They're doing great things. A lot of parallels between both of these teams. And honestly, if we're going to lose to a team, and start figuring out things that we need to improve upon, I'd rather it be a team like the Seahawks who I respect rather than it be a team like the Jets who you're like, damn, that's the win you just want to come out with. But real quick, I do want to let you guys know too that this video is brought to you by BetUS. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later how you can get an exclusive 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits all the way up to $2,000. But Rob, let's start here with the offense because I feel like a lot of people are getting down on Jacoby Brissett for this game and trying to put it all on the quarterback position when in reality, it really wasn't on Jacoby Brissett. I feel like you need to understand what you're getting from him and when he signed here, what kind of quarterback he was going to be. I think you need to look at the circumstance that the Patriots are in with their offense, the weapons, the offensive line specifically, and say what quarterback would succeed here. I think you need a superhero to make this team look better. You would need a Josh Allen. You would need a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, guys that are very few and far between. And you knew that when you signed Jacoby Brissett, he was never going to be a superhero. He was never going to be a top quarterback. He was never going to be top 10. He's like at best, probably the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. I wouldn't even say he's middle of the pack. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to kind of hone in our expectations and what to expect from Jacoby Brissett, because in my opinion, through 2 weeks, he's exceeded expectations and he's performed a lot better with the supporting cast than I think everybody expected that he would.
And when you look at this team last year, what did we average? 13 points per game. We got that in the first half. Overall, like what he did is you couldn't have had a better game manager than what he did today or what he's done thus far. He didn't turn over the ball. He was actually even more safer this game than he was last game. Last game, he put one in the end zone to Hunter Henry that could have been intercepted. I can't name a play where he actually put the ball in harm's way. He played a perfect game. He played to his role of what he had to do today.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stats here. He was 15 for 27, 149 yards, 9.9 yards on average, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, sacked 3 times, and an overall rating of 83.7. That's not bad at all. In fact, very similar overall, I would say, to the statistics of Geno Smith. And Geno Smith obviously having the way better supporting cast. Geno Smith in this game, dude, he threw for 44 attempts, which is absolutely absurd, but he was 33 for 44, 327 yards. He also 9.9 yards on average, also 1 touchdown, also 0 interceptions, also sacked 3 times, but he had a overall quarterback rating of 103.1. Overall, if you look at the stats of these quarterbacks, opposite of the attempts, the yards, and the overall rating, very similar in terms of they didn't turn over the ball. They were sacked the same amount, same overall average, and same amount of touchdowns thrown, and everybody I think is hyping up Geno Smith in this game. Am I going to say Jacoby was perfect? No, but at the end of the day, you have to understand what he's working with. And the Patriots have the 32nd best offensive line that is dead last in the league. According to PFF, Patriots have the worst pass blocking offense in the NFL yet again. And last week, they had the 24th best run blocking offensive line in the NFL. So either way you try to swing it, this O-line is just not good. And it is the Achilles heel. I feel like I didn't think it could get worse from last year, Rob. I really didn't. And I don't want to say it's significantly worse than last year, but I do think that it is definitely slightly worse than what we saw from the offensive line last year. And like I said, I didn't think that was possible. We all knew that this was the Achilles heel of the New England Patriots all offseason long, and that if they were going to have any type of success running the ball or passing the ball, that it was going to start with the offensive line. And I say this all the time, and I think people are going to get annoyed of it. Maybe I should just put it on merch at this point, but the offensive line is an engine to a car, right? If the engine to your car is messed up, nothing's going to work right. It doesn't matter if you slap on new wheels. It doesn't matter if you making your car all sexy and you get a new paint job, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like at the end of the day, if you do not have the engine to your car running the right way, all the other complementary pieces don't matter. And that's what it is with the offensive line. If you cannot get what is centered around the overall production of your offense figured out by starting with the trenches, you're not going to get the production in the running game, which somehow they are still finding a way to get a production there. And in the passing game, you're not going to get any production, right? Because what you need to understand is that if your quarterback doesn't have time, if he's getting pressured right away, if he's getting sacked right away, he doesn't have time to get through his dropbacks. He doesn't have time to get through his mechanics. Mechanics are very important for getting the velocity behind the ball, for getting the accuracy behind the ball. Mechanics are really the entire part of playing quarterback, but it's not just that. It's also the wide receivers. If Jacoby Brissett is getting pressured immediately, he needs to get the ball out of his hands immediately. And these wide receivers aren't good enough to be open in a split second. They're not going through their progressions quick enough. They're not getting in and out of their routes quick enough. And that's not on these wide receivers, okay? I'm not trying to put that on the wide receivers by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like not Gerard Mayo, but Elliott Wolf kind of came into the offseason saying, well, Joe Burrow did it when they drafted Jamar Chase in 2021, and they were the worst offensive line in the NFL. Joe Burrow was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL that year, and they still went to the Super Bowl. And I think what you have to understand is Jamar Chase, offensive rookie of the year that year, immediately became a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, and Joe Burrow, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
T. Higgins.
They don't have either one. They had Joe Mixon at the time. The
Tyler
Patriots
Boyd.
don't have either one of those. They don't have an elite quarterback, and they don't have at least one single elite wide receiver. For people also saying, why are we not getting splash plays? Why are we not taking shots down the field? You have to understand the offensive line isn't allowing that. And I agree. I'm somebody who believes that taking shots down the field isn't necessarily about hitting on those plays. It's to tell a defense, we will take shots down the field. And if you don't respect us over the top, at some point, we're going to connect on one of these. The problem is that, again, when Jacoby Brissett has 2 defenders in his face, as soon as the ball hits his hand, he doesn't have time to get through a 5-step drop back and in order to get those mechanics and the velocity behind the throw. Because again, you're essentially, when you're playing quarterback, that 5-step drop back, when you're about to launch a ball down the field, all that momentum is being carried from the lower half, right? That's why you always see Dak Prescott like doing the little thing before the game, is because he's trying to get his mechanics ready to launch the ball down the field. It doesn't come from the arm. It comes from the momentum that you carry through your body. And if he can't get through that momentum, he can't get through the progressions, they're not able to take those shots deep. And again, your receivers, I don't care if they're running a 4.2 or a 4.5 40-yard dash, they're not going to get down the field quick enough to at least attempt a splash play down the field. It all comes back down to the offensive line And it is so frustrating that Elliott Wolf really thought, hey, let me go after the wide receivers and address this wide receiver core more than trying to address the offensive line. I understand that the wide receiver core wasn't great, but at the end of the day, the bigger impact was going to be addressing the offensive line right now. It would have made the receivers look better because it would have given them extra time to get open. It would have given them another second or two to be able to get in and out of their breaks and in and out of their routes. Not just that, but it would have allowed Jacoby Brissett to sit back there in the pocket, which he is. And I think people don't understand that. I think Jacoby Brissett is a more mobile quarterback than he got credit for, but his bread and butter is sitting in the pocket and making plays. It's not being mobile. It's not running around like we've been seeing him do for 2 weeks. And if they had an offensive line that would at least allow him to do that, he would be a much more accurate quarterback. The receivers would look much, much better. The passing game would look much, much better if we just had an adequate offensive line. And we are seeing exactly why that should have been the biggest priority for the Patriots this offseason. But for some reason to Elliott Wolf, it was like his least priority. The biggest addition they made, Rob, this offseason, Chuks Okorafor, who decided that before week 2 even happened, he was just going to call it a career and say, I don't feel like playing football anymore. Why this was not a bigger priority, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think Caden Wallace has performed decently well, but you clearly needed a left tackle, so you go get a project in Caden Wallace, and you go and say, oh, he may be able to play left tackle. That's not – you can't do that. There were plenty of left tackles in this draft that you could have grabbed. And now, wherever our left tackle is going to be in the first round this next year's draft. But I have to say that Jacoby Brissett's ability to manipulate the pocket, there was a couple where Boyo Maffe's in his back pocket. He could have got a safety, and he gets out of that. How many times Jacoby Brissett used his legs today, not in a rushing aspect like he did in week 1 against the Bengals, but in the aspect of him escaping the pocket and throwing a dot to whoever the receiver was? I mean, how many times this game did Jacoby Brissett convert a third down? Several times. I mean, Hunter Henry, talk about like in your bag today. Hunter Henry, 6 receptions in the first half for 99 yards. And those 6 receptions, or was it 6 or 7? No, he had 7 receptions in the first half. 6 of them were for first downs on third down. Incredible. But look, man, if Jacoby Brissett isn't getting enough time, you can't expect anybody to really perform. I don't know. He's getting not enough time, and you can't – I mean, if not for Hunter Henry, this game could have been really bad.
Yeah, I definitely don't put this on the quarterback position. I mean, he was sacked another 3 times today. He was running for his life. I mean, I feel like I really do feel for
– I don't blame Jacoby Brissett at all.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, bro. Like I do. Did you see him almost get injured again? I mean, week 3 in the preseason.
Did you look at his hand?
Week 1, week 2.
He's gonna, if he can make it to week 4, I'll be surprised. Knock on wood. Nobody wants that. But did you look at his hand? He looked like he had 3rd-degree burn. He was getting messed up. But man, what did Mayo said? He's one of the slowest quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's doing his thing for whatever it's worth, man. I seen a lot of people box score watching in my followers once I went live after the game saying, "Oh, Jacoby Brissett only threw for 135 yards." I mean, when your rushing attack is going for 180 yards, what are you supposed to expect? He did what he was supposed to do. The offense did what they were supposed to do today. It's just little plays here and there. Whether it's on defense, whether it's a block field goal by Joey Sly, whether it's Caden Wallace not telling the damn ref, hey, listen, I'm telling the ref, hey, listen, I'm eligible or I'm not eligible, whatever. Little things like that is a difference. The PIs, Marco Wilson, the PI by Jonathan Jones, the miscommunication by Gonzo and the rest of it, which, by the way, Kyle Duggar said they checked into a blitz. There was a miscommunication. And that's what a 56-yard touchdown. Those are the difference between why we win and lose this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't blame our offense at all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I think our defense lost us this game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And we'll get into the defense here in a minute. And I think in hindsight that's realistically why. But at the end of the day, too, like, I mean, it sucks that you can't rely on your offense, but that's not because of Jacoby Brissett. That's not because of Hunter Henry. Like, it really is because of the offensive line. And at the end of the day, that just comes down to what Elliott Wolf did and did not do this offseason. I mean, you knew what Jacoby Brissett was. If Jacoby Brissett was a magician, Jacoby Brissett would have a multi-year contract and a starting quarterback in the league. You know how many teams are looking for a franchise quarterback, are looking for elite play right now? Quarterback is the most important position in football. I promise you that he wouldn't be a journeyman quarterback if he was that good. You have to understand the expectations on who your players are and what's realistic and what's not. At the end of the day, if you're asking Jacoby Brissett to play like a top 10 quarterback, you're not realistic. You don't know football. This isn't like Madden. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to understand players and how much they are going to give you. Jacoby Brissett signed an $8 million deal for the Patriots for 1 year. There's quarterbacks, top tier quarterbacks making $55 million a year. So him signing a 1 year, $8 million deal is pretty evident on the type of quarterback he is and the type of quarterback he is in the league today. He's a journeyman quarterback. He's not a guy you want starting for you every single game of a season. But Rob, go ahead.
You can't win many games when you have two receivers go for over 100 yards. And you make Geno Smith. If you ever seen that Spider-Man meme where the Tobey Maguire's going like this? Yep. I could have sworn I watched Joe Montana in the back of the Seahawks backfield. Like he threw for almost nearly 350 yards. Geno Smith is no slouch, but he's not nearly 350 yards good. Why are our cornerbacks lining so far off of the wide receivers? Why are they so far off? I get it. You maybe they were scared of that happening where they would beat them over the top again. But there was like the biggest recipe for disaster this game was chunk plays. How many times did you see like a 17-yard catch? So many times.
Yeah. But let's move on here. I want to talk about kind of the rushing attack today because the rushing attack, it showed up for sure. I mean, there were some times where it was inconsistent, but the Patriots absolutely killed it on the ground today. I mean, Antonio Gibson, welcome to the New England Patriots. We didn't get to see him last week, but that was also because he was on the injury report.
One second. Let me apologize for last week because I said let's elevate Kevin Harris. I mean, come on, like.
Antonio Gibson, man.
That 143-yard run or whatever, 40-something yard run.
45, wow. Yeah. 45-yard run. Antonio Gibson also, by the way, leads the Patriots today in rushing yards, 11 attempts, 96 yards, 8.7 on average, long run of 45. Ramondre Stevenson with another really good game too. I mean, 21 attempts, 81 yards, 3.9 yards on average, 1 touchdown, long run of 18 yards. I mean, these guys are dominating. These guys are absolutely dominating. We even saw Jalen Polk get an opportunity today on an end around. Now, me personally, I don't really like, I like the fact that they're trying these jet sweeps, these end arounds, these misdirection run plays. I really like that, but I wouldn't necessarily do it with somebody like Jalen Polk. Polk's not really a fast guy. He's good with the ball in his hands and making defenders miss. But I feel like on those types of plays with those misdirections, you want speed. You just want guys who are going to run past defenders. Demario Douglas, Tyquan Thornton. So I love Jalen Polk, but if I were the Patriots, I would use Polk as a run blocker because he's really good in that area. And then I would use one of those speedsters with either Tyquan or Demario and try to get some speed on the field, block it up and get some blockers in front of him in order to get him into space or one of those guys into space. So that's something I would have done different. But Jermichael Hasty got an attempt today, 1 rush, 2 yards, and they were trying to definitely change the pace of this rushing attack today. And it was definitely effective overall. The really only gripe I have with these running backs was Ramondre Stevenson, and that is ball security. I mean, at some point, it's going to be a liability. I mean, he fumbled last week. He fumbled this week. That's 2 weeks in a row. Now, luckily, he was able to get both of those back, and that's why we're not talking about it a lot. But how many times have we seen him throughout his career fumble in the most inopportune moments and they not be recovered by the Patriots? Sooner or later, you're going to play against a team where they're going to get the ball and you're not going to. Ramondre Stevenson needs to secure the ball before he starts running because, again, he's like the quarterback to this offense, essentially. They need him to play turnover-free football, especially with how dynamic and how important he is to this offense. But other than that, man, I mean, this rushing attack has been everything that we've hoped for coming into this 2024 season. Any thoughts on this rushing attack?
And when you have the 32nd ranked offensive line, you get nearly 4 yards an attempt. That's pretty damn impressive, man. Like I'm impressed with our rushing attack. 180 yards overall. Like it's incredible. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, what could they do? Like I would love to see what this offense.
The game plan is clearly. I'm sorry for cutting you off. The game plan is clearly with this team to run the football because our quarterback can't get enough time. And I'm not giving Jacoby Brissett a pass or anything, but like it's clearly that we're running the ball. That's the game plan. This is what we are pretty much.
Yeah, and I would love to see what this running back core could look like with like a top offensive line. What would Ramondre and Antonio Gibson look like with the 49ers, the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, even the Baltimore Ravens offensive line? Like give us at least an average O-line and just kind of see how they would perform, because right now they're absolutely balling. And again, they were the 24th best ranked run blocking offensive line in the league. So let's move on though to these wide receivers. Hunter Henry today with not just the player of the day, I would say, but really, I mean, this was a career game for him. I mean, 12 targets, 8 receptions, 109 yards. This was the best game he's ever had in his entire NFL career, averaging 13.6 yards on average, long catch of 35 yards. I mean, that one play where Jacoby Brissett has defenders in his face and he's about to get sacked and he just flings that ball and he's able to last minute hit on Hunter Henry, who just slides on the ground, but nobody touched him. So he gets back up and he rushes for another first down there. I mean, Hunter Henry balled out today. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see him in the second half. He balled out in the first half, which is why the Patriots were able to drive down the field, get into the end zone, and really put up the amount of points that they did. But then the Seattle Seahawks, they took Love, their star free safety, who was PFF's highest graded safety from week 1. And they say, instead of playing deep, we want you to play against Hunter Henry, because if he keeps cooking this way, we ain't going to win this game. And in the second half, I don't want to say they shut him down, but he was definitely a lot more quiet than he was in the first half. And unfortunately, that was the Patriots passing offense. Hunter Henry was the Patriots passing offense. It was good to see Jalen Polk finally getting in the mix a little bit here in week 2. 3 targets, 2 receptions, 12 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously, he needs to get implemented still more. He's not being utilized as much as I think he should. I mean, 3 targets, 2 receptions. He's just not getting enough opportunities. But I think we're seeing that when they are going his way, he is doing things. And I think that's why he needs to be much more of a vocal point to this offense. But again, he was your second leading receiver today. And he had 12 yards. So the fact that when they took Hunter Henry out of the mix, your next best receiver was a guy who put up 12 yards, I think says a lot. I mean, KJ Osborne, 2 targets, 1 reception, 7 yards. Austin Hooper, 1 target, 1 reception, 5 yards. And then you asked your running backs to do a lot. I mean, Antonio Gibson, 1 target, 1 reception, 7 yards. And Ramondre Stevenson targeted 5 times, 2 receptions, 9 yards. To me, I love Ramondre. And it's not that he can never catch passes, but there was a point where early on in the game, it was in the first half, and Jacoby Brissett tested him on a go route on the outside against, I forget who the defender was for the Seahawks. And I was like, why are you giving a 50-50 contested catch to Ramondre Stevenson? I love Ramondre, but he is not that type of guy. If you want to give a running back one of those opportunities, at least put, Antonio Gibson out there, who's a former wide receiver converted to running back. Test one of these wide receivers, test one of these tight ends. I mean, why are you giving that contested 50-50 catch to Ramondre, who just, he's not a receiving back, and he can make things happen from now and then, but he's not the type of guy who's going to work through contact and catch 50-50 passes. Like, he's not James White. That I just don't understand. I don't think Ramondre should be more targeted than Antonio Gibson was. But again, you need to get more out of your wide receivers here. I mean, this is now 2 weeks in a row where we've heard absolutely nothing from Demario Douglas, and he's getting open. They just need to make him more of a vocal point to this offense. They need to find a way to get him the ball, because we saw even last year in Demario's rookie season to where when he was targeted, the Patriots were winning games. They were putting up points offensively. When he was injured, they weren't putting up points because they weren't moving the ball. And that is the exact instance here. Outside of Hunter Henry, I mean, such a lackluster performance from this receiving core. We still got you there, Rob?
Yeah, my dog was scratching at the door. I got to let him in.
But do you have any thoughts on the receiving core outside of how Hunter Henry performed?
Look, man, at the end of the day, whoever got open. Hunter Henry did his thing. Look, we can go and say how this guy didn't do it, this guy didn't do it. It's clearly the effort that we were trying to put in is run the ball. We ran the ball. Hunter Henry got open. Other than like really that end zone threat where Polk got in the end zone, like it really much like it is what it is, man. How many third downs did Hunter Henry convert? So it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe we have to scheme them up better open. But I was really impressed with how AVP ran this offense. I've been impressed so far. Look what he's having to work with, man. The 32nd ranked offensive line. Like last week, Jacoby Brissett's pressure on 40% of his passes.
Yeah, I mean, you can only cook with what you're ultimately given in the kitchen, obviously. There were a couple of play calls where I was a little bit like, what are we doing here? Some timeout opportunities where I was like, what are we doing here? One thing I would like to see too, Rob, I can't believe I'm saying this, but with how bad the O-line is, maybe some more screen opportunities. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of that through 2 weeks now. We haven't seen a lot of screens.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's a way to help.
Maybe get Demario Douglas, who's shifty as hell, pass him a screen here and there. Just let him rip off one. I don't know, man.
I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. I feel like if we're not going to get opportunities down the field, then at least start some screens. See if you can get these guys kind of with some blockers in front of them and start making plays. The Patriots aren't going to have big splash plays down the field. That is just the fact. The Patriots aren't going to get 50-plus yard bombs, 40-plus yard bombs consistently. They just don't have the offensive line that is going to keep your quarterback upright long enough for the receivers to get open and long enough for him to be able to make the throw. So what do? You start to work in the short to intermediate route, try to get guys into space, get the ball to your playmakers who are good with the ball in their hands and guys who are fast, and start trying to get chunk plays that way. Try getting 15, 20-yard gains just by doing that. You have to understand the pros and the cons, the strengths and weaknesses to your offense. What is realistic versus what isn't? Don't expect the Patriots to do things that Seattle's doing. Don't expect them to do things that the 49ers are doing. They just don't have the same type of offense, and it's just not realistic for them to do some of these things that I think Patriots fans are asking of them. Maybe next year when they go into free agency, they go in the draft and they start addressing some of these other things a little bit better, but you have to look at the roster. Look at some of these top tier rosters doing the things you want to see the Patriots doing, then look at the Patriots roster and look at the massive difference on why the Patriots can't do some of these things that other teams are doing. Real quick, though, I do want to give a massive shout out, man. I mean, we really do got Seahawks fans coming in here just respecting us, not being rude. We lost, and y'all could be clowning us right now, but you guys are giving us respect, and I really appreciate that. We have another Seahawks fan coming in here saying, love from Seahawks camp. Great game. Good luck to y'all in the rest of your season. Y'all too, man. Go ahead and win it. Let me tell you, go ahead and go win it all. I want to see the Seahawks in the playoffs. Y'all are a great team. I definitely think that the Hawks are going to be an underrated team this season.
I do have to say, though, I'm really impressed with that jumbo package. Like when we run that, it seems like to be almost unstoppable. It's kind of like our tush push that I love. Whenever we did that and we had Caden Wallace out there, basically being, if he had been telling the ref all game though that he was eligible or ineligible, whatever, why is it that the most critical moments we weren't able to execute that? Like he didn't say something to the ref.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's on David Andrews, who runs the offense. I'm not sure if that's on Alex Van Pelt or Gerard Mayo, but, obviously there was that big instance where the Patriots get flagged because Caden Wallace goes from starting at tackle to now being a tight end because of how he shifted his alignment, and they didn't call it, right? So, but at the end of the day, too, I don't think Caden Wallace was expected to be as big of a piece in the offense by week 2 as he kind of had to be in this game, because I think Chuks Okorafor was kind of that backup guy. He was that rotational guy, and you would see Caden Wallace in certain jumbo packages, like you mentioned, as where now Caden Wallace is being asked to play in the Chuks Okorafor role because Chuks Okorafor decided that he was going to step out. So, I mean,
I think chemistry, man.
Hurt.
Chemistry, especially with our offensive line, how bad it is right now. I don't think our offensive line is that bad. I think it's really just not having the left tackle being solidified really kind of hurts, because you're having players like Michael Onwenu who play out of position because the rest of the offensive line is, I don't know, man. I did not want to go into next year's draft and having to go draft a left tackle. I don't understand why we got Caden Wallace in the 3rd round. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think he's going to be eventually a good tackle, but never a good left tackle. He's not a left tackle. Who was that damn offensive? What happened?
And that's okay if he's not like
a
good
left
tackle.
Okay, but like we're going based off what? Fashanu was with the Jets, and he was playing left tackle for Penn State, and Caden Wallace is playing right. Why are we going based off what we think he may be able to do? It's not even something that's solid. It's like, okay, he may be able to play left tackle. No, we could have gotten, who was the left tackle for the Chiefs? God, I forget it. It's like a long last name that he has.
Dude, I know exactly who you're talking about.
He does have a little bit of skill issue, and there's a little development there, but at least he has the potential, and we don't have to waste our 1st round pick on a left tackle.
Yeah, Kingsley Suamataia. Suamataio, whatever
There
it
you
is.
go.
Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, I would have liked to see the Patriots trade up for him. And honestly, like, I like the double dipping at wide receiver, but you know what? Like, I would have rather taken one of those picks and instead of Javon Baker, give me a quality offensive tackle. But here's the thing, too,
Appreciate
right?
Cobra Kai.
Here's the thing. He was a third round pick, right? A third round pick. I'm okay with that guy needing to develop. I'm okay with a third round pick not needing to start week one and be a massive piece to your team. And I understand that he needs to develop, but I also don't like the way they've been developing him. I agree with you, Rob. I mean, Michael Onwenu, the way for succession he needs to get kicked back into guard. He needs to be your starting right guard. That's where he plays the best. And then just instead of trying to fit a square into a circle hole or whatever the hell the saying is called, instead of trying to put Caden Wallace as your starting left tackle and develop him somewhere he didn't play at the collegiate level at all, keep him as a right tackle because you need both left and right tackle. And at least that's somewhere he's comfortable with.
My biggest issue is how many times, like until like the last minute, did we change up this O-line where continuity and chemistry is huge for offensive line. And they had like up until like the very last moment, we didn't know what our offensive line was. So that is, I don't know.
Yeah, but guys, real quick, before we continue on, because I think there's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot we need to talk about with the defense because at the end of the day, they played such an abysmal game to where, again, there's a lot of different ways that you could look at it, and you wouldn't be wrong. Patriots special teams, Patriots coaching, Patriots offense, Patriots defense. It comes down to one play. One play, and the Patriots come out with this win. So you could really swing it in several different ways, and I don't think you would necessarily be wrong. I want to touch on the coaching staff too, but before we do that, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsors of this video and this channel all football season long. Those are my buddies right there over at BetUS. Right now, you guys can get an exclusive limited time offer with the football season being here of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits all the way up to $2,000. They are upping that initial offer from 125% sign-up bonus. You guys are not going to want to miss out on that. Let's say that you put down $100. That turns into $250 for you to play with, and you can do that on your first 3 deposits all the way up to $2,000. More money you put in, ultimately, the more money you're going to get out. All you have to do is go ahead and sign up on the website or download their app. Sign up, super quick, super easy, super simple. They're going to ask for a promo code. That's YouTube 150. All you do, type in YouTube 150, and you'll again get that 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits all the way up to $2,000. BetUS has the fastest payouts in the industry, 200% crypto deposit bonus, fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year, live wagering on all major games, best betting variety in the business. You can even get a 10% back on your net losses 2 times a year, and you can get your very own personalized account manager. Most importantly, though, never bet more than you can afford to lose. Is to have a little bit of extra fun this upcoming football season. If you have a little bit of extra cash, throw $5 there, throw $10 there, especially on these Patriots games, which everybody thinks every single week we're going to be blown out, which clearly we're not. I mean, we're not projected to win any games this upcoming season. Go ahead and put a little bit of extra money down if you want to have some fun, but do it responsibly. Never bet more than you can afford to lose, right? Don't think that you're going to make a living this way. Don't think that you're going to put food on the table this way. It's just to have a little bit of extra fun. If you or somebody you know, somebody you love has an issue, please reach out to me. Please reach out to somebody to get that help you need. You can even get that help on BetUS's website. So again, shout out to them. But let's go ahead. Oh, man. Let's get on to this defense, man. Let's get on to this freaking defense, which in reality, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it really could have been a lot worse. 23 total points allowed to Seattle through 4 quarters, or through 5 quarters, rather, I guess I should say. And they have a very good offense. I mean, this could have been a lot worse, but nonetheless, the Patriots here, let me pull up the exact statistics. They allowed 327 yards to Geno Smith. They allowed a 103.1 passer rating. They allowed DK Metcalf to put up 129 yards on 10 receptions with 14 targets, averaging 12.9 yards on average, long reception of 56 yards. They allowed Jackson Smith-Njigba, who was a third wide receiver. They allowed 16 targets, 12 receptions, 117 yards, averaging 9.8 yards on average. It is going to be very, very, very tough for you to win games when you are allowing not just one, but you are allowing 2 wide receivers to put up 100+ yard games, especially, Rob, when your special teams, they're not making any plays, and your defense, they didn't have a single takeaway. You cannot play this type of football and not have any takeaways, not win the turnover battle and play like this. I mean, straight up, give me your thoughts on the Patriots coverage unit here, because I think that's going to be kind of the takeaway from this game.
I think, honestly, like, the biggest thing was the penalties. Marco Wilson, which, by the way, I don't know, isn't it where like the ball's not catchable, or like it's so far away that that's not a PI?
Yeah, it
I
has to
don't
be a
know.
certain distance, and I would have to go back and look at the play, but
How do
it
you
is at
make
a
that
point where it's
assessment?
too
Because I don't
far.
think Marco Wilson, I believe it was a first or second quarter where he got a PI that, like, that ball wasn't catchable. Like, that was way out of bounds. Geno Smith overthrew him by a mile, but I think that was the biggest thing. That PI, the John Jones PI, just little plays here and there, man. Those PIs in the most critical moments. It's just we really shot ourselves in the foot in those particular moments the most. Like I just every time, like, those are point swings that we could have gotten off the field. Like, I mean, Kyle Duggar gets a clutch sack, and the very next play you give up, what was it, like a 17-yard catch to, I think, Njigba. Like, we can't do that. I was like, all right, we're going to get off the field. Kyle Duggar sacked the quarterback. And then the next play, we give up like 17 yards. I'm like, what are we doing here? And then what is this all like break, like sending the house and blitzing? Mm-hmm. What are we doing? Like, why are we sending so many defenders to blitz? Yeah. Especially with the capability of a DK Metcalf and Njigba. I'm going to be honest with you, he might be their second best wide receiver. I think you're underselling him.
Yeah, so the way that I see it, like Marco Wilson, I mean, this is the second week in a row now. So, like, obviously at some point it comes down to whether it was an overthrown ball or not. You just don't even put yourself in a position to make those mistakes, right? Because pass interference, that's one of the worst mistakes you can make, because that's down where it happened. So whether the play was realistically going to be catchable or not, if they call that and it's 60 yards down the field, that's a 60-yard gain, no matter whether if it was going to be catchable or not. It's just how the refs are going to swing it, which is why never put yourself in those positions. And he's done it the last 2 weeks. And I think that is the problem. For me, though, Rob, the bigger question.
I literally put near Marco Wilson on my notes. Why? Why?
Yeah, exactly. The biggest question is just, why was he put in that position to start with? You know what I'm saying? Because look here, I absolutely loved how the Patriots cornerbacks matched up against these wide receivers. And why they didn't play more man coverage confuses me. The Patriots defensive scheme, the way they ran the defense this week, that's why the defense sucked. The discussion should not be, well, the Patriots defense stinks and these pieces aren't as good as we thought, and Gonzo's not a number one cornerback, and this defense needs more help than we thought. That's not it. It was the game plan defensively.
Miscommunication on the
no sense. Exactly. Like you mentioned, right? First quarter, the Patriots are able to go up 7 points. What happens? Not too long later, there is a blown coverage. Very next drive, like you mentioned, there is blown coverage between really, arguably, your two best defenders here with Christian Gonzalez and Kyle Duggar. But look, here's what essentially happened. They were going back and forth between zone coverage and man coverage, and there was miscommunication on what exactly the play call was between Duggar and between Gonzalez. Gonzalez was playing zone, and he essentially thought that Duggar was with the safety help over the top. But Duggar thought that Gonzo had him man-to-man the entire time. So here Gonzo goes trying to pass him off, doesn't have help, and here Kyle Duggar is thinking that Christian Gonzalez has him going down the sidelines, and obviously nobody takes him, and it's just an easy catch. It wasn't anything special by DK Metcalf. It was just blown coverage, a bad moment by the Patriots defense, lack of communication, and it's like he was practicing before the game. Bro's just catching passes against air and rushes in for like a 56-yard touchdown and puts them up. I mean, look at, I said, there's several different points where you can look back at this game and say, if that play was different, Patriots would have won. And if that play didn't happen, and let's say the Patriots were able to hold the Seahawks to a field goal, or they were able to force a punt, Patriots would have won this game, right? It comes down to those little moments, but it's because of how bad the Patriots defense, or not defense, but it's how bad the Patriots offense is, rather, that this is where we are. The Patriots offense isn't reliable. You're not going to be able to ask them to drive down the field when you need them most. So what do you have to do? You have to ask for perfect coaching, a perfect defensive game, and a perfect special teams game. And if even one of those things does not happen, you're not going to win games. And it's just not realistic to win games that way with an offensive-minded league. But kind of going back to what we were saying before, I really, really liked the Patriots matchups here between the wide receivers to cornerbacks. I don't think they needed to play zone. Kenneth Walker wasn't playing in this game. I wasn't worried whatsoever about their rushing attack when I heard Kenneth Walker wasn't playing. In fact, Zach Charbonnet, 14 attempts, 38 yards, 2.7 yards on average, 1 touchdown. Longest run was 9 yards. Geno Smith, 5 attempts, 8 yards, 1.6 yards on average. You made their offense one-dimensional. You knew how they were going to play. You knew how they were going to beat you. You should have just said, we're going to rush our front four. Maybe send a cornerback blitz, a safety blitz, set our linebackers off the edge on a third down, shoot them through the gap on a third down. But you're going to play an extra defensive back in your secondary to make sure that they don't allow exactly what they did. And they didn't do that.
We might have a star in Keon White. Another sack and a half game.
Doesn't make sense to me, Rob. It just doesn't make sense to me why they didn't play more man coverage in this game than zone coverage. I really liked Christian Gonzalez on DK Metcalf. Then you give him safety help over the top. There's no reason why DK should have had a 100-yard game. Then I really, really liked Tyler Lockett against Jonathan Jones. John Jones, who was the second highest graded cornerback week 1. John Jones had a very good game yet again when he was asked to play man-to-man coverage. Then I really, really liked Marcus Jones against JSN, who, I mean, for the most part, Marcus Jones had a pretty good game against JSN. Little inconsistent. There were times he gave up plays. But the reason that Metcalf and Ajigba, those guys had such big games is because they weren't getting those consistent one-on-one matchups. They were finding the sweet spots in the Patriots' zone defense when the Patriots were running zone defense, and they were able to get favorable matchups. I just don't understand why, if you have the cornerbacks to do it, why you're not playing significantly more man-to-man defense.
How many times did you see our cornerbacks line up like 10 yards off the wide receivers, though? Like, it was quite a bit towards the end.
Yeah, and I was fine with playing a little bit more off when it comes to DK, just because that's a guy that with his speed and his size, like, he's going to burn you. But you don't need to line that far off, especially for every single one of these wide receivers, especially when they were starting to just nitpick the Patriots. It wasn't huge plays down the field, but it was those consistent 5, 8, 10, 15-yard games that started to kill the Patriots. Outside of that, like, DK game, there really wasn't anything big to where you had to worry, and why the Patriots should have been playing so far off of the line. But I don't know. To me, that was my biggest takeaway. To me, it was the offensive, or not the offensive, but the defensive game plan and the way that they schemed things up in this game from a defensive standpoint that just killed the Patriots. I mean, again, on third down, why are you sending an all-out blitz? You have a good defensive line. You have Keon White, who, if you can find his favorable matchups, is going to be an absolute dog. I mean, I think he's tied. If he doesn't have the most sacks in the NFL right now, he's tied for the most sacks. He had 2.5 last week.
Aiden Hutchinson's up there.
Did Aiden Hutchinson have a good game? I'd have to look at the stats.
I believe Aiden Hutchinson had like 3 this game.
So he was going into this game. Keon White was tied for the second most sacks. He might still be tied for second most sacks, but he's up there.
He's top 5 regardless. Like, the guy is a matchup nightmare. He's like 40 years. He looks like he's 40 years old playing. It's crazy.
Well, in this game too, I mean, it's not just against the pass. It's also against the run that he's dominant. I mean, he had 2 tackles for loss last week. He adds another tackle for loss this week and another 1.5 sacks. So he's up at about 4 sacks. 4 sacks through 2 weeks. I mean, that's even better than what we saw from Matthew Judon throughout his 3 years in New England. And we still have a lot more football to go, but I'm talking from a 2-game standpoint. That's something that Matthew Judon never did. And I think, like you said, the Patriots have something special on their hands here. But again, when you have a defensive line that is able to get to the quarterback, and you are going up against one, if not the best wide receiver trio in the National Football League, why are you sending all-out blitzes? It didn't matter. They weren't getting to Geno Smith fast enough. Why? Geno Smith played great in this game. He was able to stand up tall in the pocket and make throws. Even when he knew that he was going to get sacked, he was still standing up tall in the pocket, making those throws because his guys were getting open in a split second because the Patriots were sending all-out blitzes and they had favorable matchups. Again, that is not what the game plan should have been. The game plan should have been exactly what they did last week against the Bengals. You take away the run game, you make them one-dimensional. You don't worry about all-out blitzes. You don't worry about the run game. What you do is you play a little bit more back. You put an extra defensive back on the field and you worry about taking away their wide receiver core. I feel like they did that less this week than they did last week, and they went up against a significantly better wide receiver core. I just don't understand it. Even when it was, I'm trying to think, I think it was in overtime, it was a third down. It was a 3rd and 6, right? And they send out an all-out blitz. In overtime, on a 3rd and 6, you know that they are going to pass the ball when they have not done anything against you in the run game. And instead of dropping everyone into coverage, you say, we're going to do the opposite. We're just going to send everybody at you.
Weren't they also down to their 3rd right tackle and was a Forsyth too?
Yeah.
So like, and I said that in my keys of the game on Instagram that like they needed to put Keon White on the right tackle and just like let him wreak havoc.
Again, it doesn't make sense to me. And I liked the idea of the Patriots getting more aggressive, but I thought that was going to be on 3rd down, sending a linebacker through the middle, having a linebacker set the edge, finding creative ways to get to the quarterback. Like we saw today, Kyle Duggar coming off the edge. I would love to see at some point Kyle Duggar coming off the edge at one point and Jabril Peppers coming off and doing a double safety blitz. Like things like that, I think makes sense. But when you're getting predictable on 3rd down and they're just continuously sending the house on 3rd downs, especially against teams with, like I said, really good receiving cores, that's going to bite you in the butt. And I think it's getting to the point where through 2 weeks, we've seen the Patriots, especially in this game, get a little bit too aggressive for their own good. And now it's starting to bite them in the butt a little bit. I just did not like the defensive game plan in this game whatsoever. I really can't put the blame on these players necessarily, because I think, again, when they were asked to play man-to-man and you had those proper matchups, I think they played really well. I just think it came down to the coaching and the way that they decided to scheme this up, and I really, really hope that they find a way to work around it, because like I said, they got way too aggressive for their own liking, and it bit the Patriots in the absolute butt.
Like I said, man, little plays here and there. The 2 PIs and then lining up, I don't know how many yards off the wide receiver. I thought we did decent. Man, it's just frustrating because the amount of chunk plays, like I said, the Duggar where he gets a sack and then they give up like a 17-yard catch the next play. Like little things like here or there that really was a difference in this game.
Yeah, dude. It sucks. Look, I want to get on to the next thing here, and that's coaching. I know we touched upon this a little bit, so like we don't have to, shoot a dead horse or kick a dead horse or something about a dead horse, whatever the saying is. But I don't feel like the timeouts were properly used. Rob, we talked about this and we had issues with this in the preseason too. I don't know if you remember that, but I think it was in their first preseason game against the Commanders going up into a halftime. They had like all timeouts and Gerard Mayo just didn't use any. That was an excellent opportunity with a 2-minute drill to get the ball back and see if you can go down the field. And he didn't use it. And I said, we better not see this. Better not see this in the regular season. Like, you got to know how to use that clock to your advantage if you're going to play close games and come out with those wins, especially when you're trying to dominate time of possession. And the Seahawks are leading the Patriots by 1 point. 1 point as you're starting to enter into halftime. But that's not how they finished.
Seconds? Was it 37 seconds?
Yeah, they had the Patriots had, I think, like 50 seconds. They had a timeout left. They had the opportunity to drive down the field and take the lead. Because at the end of the day, when you're losing by 1 point, the Patriots didn't even need to get into the end zone there before halftime. All they needed was to at least give Joey Sly a field goal attempt. But the last thing that you can do in that situation is to give the ball back to the opposing offense and let them score any type of points. Because even if your offense is stalling out and you can't get even a field goal, you run out the clock. You run out the clock and you just live to see another down. You're down by 1 point and you go into halftime to where you come out and you're winning by a touchdown. You're winning by a field goal. Damn, you're even winning by a safety. But what did they do? They didn't do the right thing. Rob, on third down, they still decided to pass the ball in their own territory. Incomplete pass, stops the clock, and now you're giving the ball back to the Seattle Seahawks with, what'd you say, like 30, 40-some seconds left on the clock, and they had like a timeout?
37 seconds. I don't know, man. You're averaging nearly 4.5 yards a rush all game. Run the damn ball.
And they punted in their own end zone. And on third down, they let the clock stop. They punt the ball off, and they get a good return on special teams. They set themselves up almost perfectly, almost immediately in field goal position. They line up at the 48-yard line. What are they able to do? They're able to string together a couple of plays, and they're able to kick a field goal. So instead of sending this into overtime with the Patriots losing by 1, now the Patriots are losing by 4, which is more than even a field goal. And again, how did the Patriots lose this game? The Patriots lost this game because it went into overtime. Whether the Patriots were leading by even 1 point, it would have made such a massive difference. It is moments like that. It is coaching moments like that, situational football, where you have to be better. Something that, even towards the end of Belichick's career, he wasn't always perfect. He had a lot of mistakes, things that needed to be better. But at least even at the end of his career last year, with us only winning 4 games, he still knew situational football. He knew how to utilize the clock. He knew the do's and the don'ts. And right now, we're just seeing like a lot of rookie moments, I feel like, from Gerard Mayo in his second game as head coach. And he'll get better. He has to learn these things.
That's my biggest thing I was going to say next, man, is I'm happy it's happening now. Not week 8, week 9. He's still, let's be patient, because there's no reason to be negative. We were competing in this game. It's just little errors here that we got to clean it up. But it's week 2. I'm trying to drive and draw a silver lining and grab some type of positivity, because I was on my live earlier and they were telling me about how like Jacoby Brissett passed for 150 yards. But the other side of the coin, I was like, well, then we ran for 180 yards. I'm trying to draw something positive from this game. The fact that like this team is not supposed to be competitive at all. Have we not been told that? You go look at the media pundits. Everybody picked the Seahawks. Same thing with the Bengals. The Bengals were 9.5-point favorites last game. We're competing with the worst offensive line in football, and our running backs are doing pretty damn good. And I'm really actually impressed with AVP's play calling. I am. And if we just figure out everything else, you just little things here and there, just clean it up, and we're good.
Yeah, I mean, just for me, when it comes to the coaching staff, it's just frustrating because we saw some of these pains in the preseason, and I feel like it's still carrying itself on. I understand that it's not like a one punch to where it happens one time and it's immediately fixed forever. Sometimes you need to see it multiple times. Sometimes you need to kind of take a couple of times for it to get better. But I don't know, man. It's just we need to be better. Situational football, coming down to philosophies. Even the Patriots shooting themselves in the foot a lot of times with just inopportune penalties. Something that I thought they did great last week was not having that situation. But now we're back to that exact same issue. Issues that really plagued the Patriots last year are some of the same things that we saw in this game. And again, it comes down, Rob, like we've been saying, it comes down to one play being the difference. And you can point to several different plays, whether it's Joey Sly on that field goal, whether it's the defense not giving up that play to DK, whether it's the offense getting something going, the coaching staff knowing how to utilize these timeouts, right? And knowing how to utilize the clock. One thing would have made the difference. But again, if this is how you're going to win games, you need to be better. If this is how you're going to win games, you need to be better, and you're going to need to be perfect. But that's the position that you put yourself in. That's the position that Elliott Wolf put this team in when he decided not to address the offensive line in the slightest.
Yeah, little plays here and there, man. 2 PIs, block field goal. Caden Wallace not saying he's eligible. It's little things here or there. But like I said, man, I'm really just trying to be a little bit positive. We got a rookie head coach. We got basically a brand new offense, and we put up 48 less yards than the Seahawks, who are supposedly a top 10 offense with this. Like, I mean, I'm trying to draw some type of positivity from this game, because you go look at the grand scheme of things, they had 358 total yards. We had 310. I mean, I don't want to be a moral victory guy, but like I said, we're not supposed to win any games this season. We're supposed to be competing for the number 1 overall pick. This team, we wouldn't be even arguing about this. We'd be like, oh, hey, listen, let's start doing our draft. Let's start figuring out who we're going to draft next. No, we were competitive nonetheless with a team. Both our games, we were competitive when we're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
How many times? What's the over under? What's the over under? I'm sorry for cutting you off, but what was the over under? What was over under for this team? 3 wins? 2 wins?
The over under was Oh, I thought you meant for the overall total points. The overall total points was
Oh,
38.5. But yeah, I think it was like 4 wins, 3 or 4 wins.
yeah, we're right there, man. Little play, one or two plays. Hell, you get that Joey Sly field goal not blocked, and that goes through uprights. We're having a different tune, man. It's just little plays here or there.
Yeah, and if you are a Patreon member, I did put that link on Patreon. So if you want to come join me and Rob for the end of the show and kind of just give your thoughts and what you think about this game and where the team goes forward, make sure you guys go ahead and start coming in backstage, because we'll bring you on here in just a couple of short minutes as me and Rob start to wrap things up here. But Rob, what did you think about overall the special teams? Because Joey Sly last week, 3 for 3. I mean, he was 9 out of the 16 total points that we put up last week. In this game looked really good too. Obviously ends up getting that one field goal blocked, which would have really been the difference. Patriots probably win this game if he makes that. But Seattle Seahawks, I mean, they blocked the punt last week. They have a good special team unit. They come in here and they get one on the Patriots when it matters most. Any thoughts on this special teams? Do you put that play on the Patriots or just a good play on the Seahawks?
It's both sides, man. You got, what did I say before the game? Boyamafi, I think it's his first name. Boyamafi had nine pressures against the Broncos.
Wow.
They have a stout defensive line. It's more, their D line is good and our offensive line is bad. It's just a balance of both, man. And I think I'm not blaming anybody, but just what it is, man. Like, it just happens. It sucks. But it's a game of inches, man. We couldn't block nothing. So if our quarterback can't get time, how do you think our kicker is going to get time? Especially, my head hurts, man.
Yeah, I don't put that on Joey Sly. It sucks. I had confidence that he would have made that anyway. I've seen some fans, man. Some fans really try to kind of put that on him. It wasn't on him. It wasn't that. It was like a low kick. Like I saw some people on Twitter trying to say. It was just a good play. It was a good play by Seattle's, defense or special teams, and they're aggressive. They're aggressive in all phases, offensive, defensive, and special teams. And we saw that in this game from really all three of those phases too. And the Patriots O-line, whether it's been offensively or it's been special teams wise, it struggled. And they just sent a guy off the edge. He clearly went unblocked, and they just make a play when it matters most.
Brother, like, the ball wasn't even kicked yet, and they already had a guy in the backfield. Like,
yeah, they executed.
You cannot blame Joey Sly on this. He's been good. Like, hell, Behringer kicks the hell. Like, how many times he puts the ball deep enough where we can at least put them in a little bit unfavorable field position. Like, our special teams is fine. It's just really, like, there needs to be a concerted effort to fixing this offensive line. And maybe it starts with a little bit of continuity. Hopefully that's part of the reason, because like I said, going into the season, how many times leading up to week one, did we change over the offensive line, whether it's Caden Wallace at left tackle, this guy at right tackle? There was not continuity. Literally, well, I think it was to the final bell. Literally to the final bell while Onwenu was playing right guard. And then they decided, hey, listen, we're going to kick him back to right tackle. You got to build continuity, man. Chemistry is a thing. And if you don't have chemistry on offensive line, how do you expect someone to pick up assignments?
Yeah. I think I touched upon everything else that I wanted to talk about, from offense, defense, special teams, coaching. So I don't think I have anything left about this game. But one more thing, Rob, I do want to ask you before we bring these guys in. I see a lot of people talking. Look, it's the first loss. You knew this was going to happen. As soon as we lost a game, everyone was going to start bringing up.
Apparently
Drake
I'm an
Maye.
idiot. Whatever everybody's I say.
Everybody's going to bring up Drake Maye whenever the Patriots started to lose. And I just want to know your thoughts. What do you think about doing with Drake Maye? I have my thoughts, but first I want to get into yours.
Look, man, I want him to start as much as the next person, but then I guess they were panning in at Jacoby Brissett, and you go look at his hands, and he looks like he has third-degree burn. Do I want that for my rookie? A guy that needs, like, look, we've seen what he did at UNC. He had one of the worst offensive lines in football, had the 7th-ranked offense while having Tez Walker to throw to, and his offensive line coach was replaced 2 years in a row, which means he's had a bad offensive line at UNC. I don't want that to be a common thread. I want him to come into something semblance of a good off. I'm not looking for anything great. I'm looking for at least a top 15 offensive line. We don't have that. He's going to be literally, his internal clock is going to be too sped up, and I don't want that for him.
Yeah. Next 10 years, not the next 10 months. everybody, and it's not even Patriots fans. It's just NFL fans in general. Everybody has those fans on each of their teams where they're greedy. They just want the next guy in. They want perfection. They want to be back into contention. And you have to understand that it goes a lot more into just hitting on the quarterback position to actually have success, right? And you want to be successful for the next 10, 15 plus years. You want to get the absolute most you possibly can out of Drake Maye. You don't want to knock up his internal clock. You don't want to knock up his confidence, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are very important parts to playing the quarterback position. We saw that with Mac Jones. When he was rattled and his internal clock got sped up, he was ruined. When Mac Jones' confidence got shocked up, he was ruined. And when that happens to a quarterback, it is very, very rare for a quarterback to not succeed in the NFL and then to come back and be a top tier quarterback. I mean, really, who in the league has done that? Baker Mayfield, finally with his third team looking good. Geno Smith took years and years and years for him to finally look like a franchise quarterback after he got rattled. No, make sure you do right by your quarterback. Nobody's expecting the Patriots to be good. Like, do you really expect if the Patriots throw Drake Maye out in there right now that this turns the Patriots into a playoff contender, that it makes them a Super Bowl contender? Because unless Drake Maye comes in and now all of a sudden the Patriots can be a real contender to win a Super Bowl, don't play him. I really don't care, bro. I really don't care if Drake Maye could make you a playoff team. If he doesn't make you a Super Bowl team right now, I don't care. You're thinking about the longevity. I want him 120% ready. I don't want him 90. I don't want him 93. Bro, I don't even want him 98. I don't want there to be any percentage that we do him wrong and we mess up his development. Do him right. We've talked about this so many times. There is a blueprint for sitting quarterbacks. Tom Brady himself has said this. Aaron Rodgers sat for a period of time. Tom Brady sat for a period of time. Patrick Mahomes sat almost his first entire season. Jordan Love sat for several years. Justin Herbert sat for a couple of games. I think he would have sat longer if Tyrod Taylor didn't go down with a punctured lung. Look at the blueprint for quarterbacks. I understand we all want to see him. He was exciting. He was the better quarterback in the preseason. But the regular season is a different animal, and you saw Jacoby Brissett go down and get injured week 3 of the preseason. You saw him go down dealing with injuries week 1 of the regular season. You saw him go down and get banged up week 2 of the regular season. That is 3 weeks in a row. You do not want to throw your rookie franchise quarterback out there, because here's the thing too. Let's say Drake Maye does get injured. He comes in next week and he gets injured because this O-line sucks. Now he can't develop. Because at the very least, if he's not starting the games and he's just the backup quarterback, he can actually get reps in practice. He can use the VR system at Gillette Stadium in practice. If he's injured, he's just sitting there watching. He can't practice. He can't use the VR set whatsoever. That's why you don't start Drake Maye right now. See how bad the offensive line is? That's why you don't start until you have a consistent offensive line that can at least show they're better than what we saw the last 2 weeks. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, that was my dog. He's just getting a little too curious. So everybody said doggy quake inside the chat.
Yo.
What it is that we don't want a Joe Burrow situation. Do you remember when Joe Burrow, I believe it was his rookie year, getting rushed like crazy, finished 3-14, tears his ACL. Now, fast forward to now, he's injury prone. You don't want that. And having one of this offensive line being as shaky as it is, I don't want to put him in a situation, like you said, don't want to speed up his internal clock, but also you don't want it to, like I said, we seen what he did at UNC, but I don't want that to be a common thread, man. Let him develop. He still steps up into pressure entirely too much, and I think he's going to be special. I already said it, and I think Drake Maye is going to be a top 5 quarterback, but why go and make it so hard for him? Give him all the assets and all the pieces that he needs at his disposal, where he can flourish instead of having him possibly get set back. I don't want a Joe Burrow situation where he gets out there and gets hit, tears his ACL or something, and then we have basically how Joe Burrow is, cannot stay healthy. I want to address whatever we need to address first, whether and get it a little bit more consistent, then maybe put him out there. But hell, man, if it keeps being the way it is, and our quarterbacks don't get enough time, and man, you know how I feel, man. I want to put him out there so bad. I want to win so bad. We all us Patriots fans, all the people in the comment section, believe me, I feel you. I want this team to win so bad. I'm tired of mediocrity. I know Jacoby Brissett's stats did not look great. And I know we want to put Drake out there, but do we really want to put him out there with the opportunity and the chances of getting injured? I don't want that for him.
Yeah, and here's the other thing I'll say. To people saying that The offense around Mac Jones was not the reason that he suffered and that it was Bill Belichick. It was because of what Bill Belichick did with being a general manager. It was the lack of addressing the offensive line. It was every single year that Mac Jones was in the NFL, giving him a worse and worse and worse offensive line. It was never giving him a number one wide receiver and a real guy that he could go to. And yeah, it was also part of the coaching staff. It was giving him 3 different offensive coordinators in 3 different years, not giving him a veteran mentor quarterback. But when it came to why Mac Jones wasn't successful on the field, his confidence was shot because he didn't have guys to go to, and everybody was blaming him. Everybody was blaming Mac Jones. All y'all, there were so many Patriots fans, and I was coming at each and every single person who said this. As soon as Mac Jones didn't look the way that everybody wanted, even if it wasn't his fault, everybody was screaming for Bailey Zappi, Bailey Zappi, Bailey Zappi, because he looked interesting. Everybody wanted to see the next big thing. Everybody wants the big question mark where it could either be something great or it could be something worse. It could be something terrible. All I'm saying is take your time with Drake Maye. Do everything right by him. Don't put him in the position to where maybe his confidence could get shot. Maybe he could get injured. Put him into a position as soon as he enters the NFL to where his confidence is going to grow. It's going to get better because he has a supporting cast around him that is going to actually help him succeed. You're asking a rookie to come out in his first year and immediately be a superhero. That is absolutely ridiculous. It takes time for superheroes to become superheroes. It took time for Tom Brady to be Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes to be Patrick Mahomes. Who else? Josh Allen to be Josh Allen. It takes time to do that. And you don't want your confidence to get shocked. You don't want your internal clock to get messed up. And what you're doing is you're asking your offense around you to help build up your confidence so that one day you can be that superhero. But it is so unbelievably rare to ask a rookie quarterback to come in and immediately be that superhero. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and let's bring in our Patreon members and get their opinions on these games. But Neil, DTN, how are we doing today, fellas?
Doing pretty good, I guess.
Go ahead, DTN. We'll start with you.
I would say that, yeah, I think this was like a sloppy game on both sides. Yeah, it may have been an entertaining game that both sides at least got points, so we don't have to see like a defensive showing with like low scoring points. But then again, there was just a lot of mistakes all over the place. Penalties. I still don't understand why Marco Wilson was there on the field instead of Marcus Jones. That I still don't understand. This is like going back to like the Marcellus died. I don't know how to say this, but I try to compare Marco Wilson to being like a Miles Bryant 2.0 and how he's costing us penalties and all that, which I don't understand. But at the end of the day, there were some plays that could have been cleaned up. I still don't understand those blitzes, which made no sense to me. The wide receivers were like open for Seattle, which I still don't understand. But at the end of the day, it's week 2. We'll start worrying about it as we get to the rest of the season if it doesn't improve. But it is what it is. There's nothing we can do.
Neil, what about you? How you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was legitimately a field goal away from winning. The offense, yeah, the O-line still causing more problems for Jacoby, but the way Jacoby gritted it out and did what he did, moving around the pocket, avoiding sacks, and still making the throws is crazy. It was a run-first game. It clearly showed it. We ran it down them pretty well. We could have got that field goal. If we would have made the field goal, it would have been 23 points for the offense, but that's not the case. The defense, yeah, man, third down is my key thing. Is like, why are you blitzing so much on third down, bro? Why are you doing that? And then I think DTN searched up on a good point about Jonathan Jones. Why is he not in there and you put in Marco in there where he's getting killed by Lockett? That makes no freaking sense whatsoever. That's not good to do. And then the penalties on defense at the worst time possible, especially in the end zone. That's I think that's what killed us. But like the offense did what it needed to do. It's not going to be a surefire passing offense. I would have liked it. Yeah, I would have liked a little more passing to Douglas. Would have helped out and stuff like that. But you got Henry over 100 yards, and you got the running backs total over 180 yards. So I can't really really ask that much more of it, except fix a goddamn O-line before we get Jacoby in hurt situation. Then I don't want to force Maye out there. Definitely don't want to do that. But the defense needs to figure that out. But the D-line, dude, the D-line's great. We stopped the run game. You got pressure. Kieran White, he's a star. This is why we let go of Judon, guys. He could line up anywhere. He's still got a sack and a half. And then you have a few other guys. We had Duggar. Duggar's showing out 2 games straight, bro. Another sack this game too, bro. This kid's showing out. Don't sleep on him.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to my boy too, Graphic Raider, one of my fellow YouTube buddies who covers the Raiders. He said, y'all were supposed to be the worst team in the NFL and y'all fighting. Much respect. Yeah, look, I don't want to take like moral victories here, right? Because they don't matter. They really don't matter at the end of the day. You lose, you're going to get clowned. It doesn't, I mean, moral wins, they don't affect like your draft status. It's not like, oh, well, you got 3 wins, but the rest of them, they were moral wins. So we're going to have to drop you in your status. Like, no, a win is a win, a loss is a loss. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But everybody counted out the Patriots, man. They counted out the Patriots week 1, thought they would get blown out. They pull up the upset in Cincinnati. They come in here and really beat themselves. This is a game that, again, the Patriots should have won. I don't think that the Seattle Seahawks won this game. I think the Patriots shot themselves in the foot. And obviously, much respect to the Seahawks. They have a really great team. But you just look at so many different things where if the Patriots do one thing different, this thing different, that thing different, like just the smallest thing, and it changes the outcome of this game. I mean, again, when you go into overtime and it's won by a field goal, like really both teams, it could go either way with 1 or 2 things that they do even slightly different. And I think that the Seahawks are going to be a playoff team as long as they stay healthy. They're a very, very good team. They're already a very good coach team. That defense is legit. That special teams is legit. And I think that offense is still working through some things, but as long as they can stay healthy, clearly they have the weapons to be able to be good too. So put some respect on the Patriots. They're going to play some opponents that aren't as good as the Seahawks. I don't think the Jets are as good as people thought. I think that's a winnable game. Week 18 against the Bills, if they're resting starters, that could be a win the Patriots get. Chargers are playing pretty good football so far, but I think that, at home, that's still a potential winnable game for the Patriots. The Colts lost today. I think that's a winnable game. I would say the Cardinals is a winnable game, but I mean, they're winning against the Rams right now. 41.
I don't know, man.
Maybe the Rams are a winnable game. Who knows, right?
Maybe the London game. Wait, go ahead. I would say the London game against against Jags.
Oh no, the Jags. Trevor Lawrence is severely overrated, but I was going to say about the Cards, man.
Browns won that game today too.
They're murdering them. They are murdering the Rams, bro. We're witnessing a murder, just like Cowboys got murdered.
I think, look, man, freaking Kyler Murray's a stud. And
how did Ravens lose?
Yeah, that's
Ravens. Yeah, shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Graf.
Gardner Minshew, bro, passed for nearly 300 yards.
Shout out to my boy Graf. We're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about that on the AFC West Roundtable, 9 p.m. live here on YouTube on Tuesday. Raiders, they definitely put off the upset. Patriots, I just think, are one of those teams. They're going to win games people don't expect them to. They might not be a playoff team, but they're going to be a lot better than people expect. You need to watch games to know that.
It was more bad Patriots than good Seahawks, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah. But the Seahawks had a really good D-line.
No, they're a good team.
They're good team. Yeah.
I just don't think we're a bottom feeding team. Like I get it. It will not show up in the box score, but the fact that we've been competitive up until this point, I know it's week 2, but 9.5-point underdogs against the Bengals, who are, by the way, are winning against the Chiefs right now.
Yep, 22-17 with the ball.
Okay, and then you have the Seahawks, who we know who they are, man. They're a playoff team. So the fact that we're competitive and like I said, man, like you said, Colby, we don't want to draw our year off moral victories. But when it comes all said and done at the end of the year, what did I say? Neil probably can quote me at this point. These games this year is not about wins and losses. It's about what we draw from this year. What do we need to improve on moving forward? What growth and everything else that comes with this team? It's not about whether we win games. I know it's going to be nice to win games. And I think, like John Jones said, that we're going to spoil a lot of teams' dreams. And I really do think this team gave me a lot more faith. Just clean up the penalties. Don't get PIs as much as you. The 2 PIs that we got, that was probably at least a 10-point swing.
Yeah,
just
I
clean
agree.
it up.
Also, there should have been some clean tackling because there were instances where we did not tackle Charbonnet and he missed a couple of defenders because we saw some missed tackling on the defense and that should have been cleaned up on certain ends. But yeah, I agree.
And next week against the Jets, they struggled against the Titans.
That's the thing. We're beatable for sure. If you struggle against the Titans and the kid had 2 turnovers, a fumble and a pick, come on, bro.
Hey man, and look, man, it's sometimes it's just who you verse. I just don't think the Titans are that great.
No,
and I think if the Titans almost beat you, and I know it's a game of okay, they know us, we know them, but I just think Aaron Rodgers, he's not what he used to be. That team is very injury prone, and we can get them.
It's a winnable game.
We're going to MetLife, man. That place is the house of horrors.
I heard that MetLife Stadium, it's like a grave. Is it like a graveyard?
That place claims ACLs and Achilles tears literally more than any. Nobody wishes any injuries, but man,
it's a dangerous freaking.
I just don't think we're gonna finish dead last in this division this year. I don't think we're what people will make it out to be because it's shown and I hope Tua heals up, but literally anything can happen.
Yeah, I don't think we're not going to be like Carolina, who's getting blown out left and right.
No, we're not that trash.
We're not the Giants. We're not the Giants. We're not the Panthers. We may still be a top 5 pick, but one thing we can hang our hat on and that the Panthers and the Giants can't do is we compete with the best of them. Both those teams have a ton of dysfunction and they're just terrible. They're just terrible teams. We're not terrible. I don't think we're a bad team. We just need to clean it up, get the left tackle position going next year, and then address the wide receiver, maybe get a wide receiver 1. And then who knows? And I know I'm speaking way too far ahead, but this team, man, just look at the light at the end of the tunnel, please. Be positive.
Yeah, there's a lot more positive to this team than I think people understand. It might not show up necessarily on wins and losses, but I think, Rome wasn't built overnight. I've said this so many times. I'm just going to say it one more time for people who maybe are new. The blueprint for this team is not winning like CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. The way of winning is Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. And that rebuild was 2-3 years. It took them time to get better. It wasn't until their second half of their second year, rather, under Dan Campbell, where they started to actually be a better and more competitive team. Things take time. I mean, this is one of the worst rosters in the entire National Football League, especially offensively. And, Elliott Wolf in his first year is working on already building that up. Not everything's going to be fixed overnight. It's not realistic to build it overnight. Also, you shouldn't want them to try to build it overnight like the Tennessee Titans do, because then within a couple of years, all your assets are gone. You didn't do the rebuild correctly. And instead of trying to be good and do things properly, suck for maybe the next 3-4 years and then be good for the next 10 plus years. Now, maybe you make the playoffs, but you're not a good team and you're competitive for maybe 3 years before you're restarting that window. Do things right. It might take longer, but do things right so that you have longevity with your success at the end of the day. But guys, make sure you also check out the products below from Fanatics. When you guys do buy those products, I do actually make a small commission off of it. It doesn't affect your price at all. I mean, you still get all the same shipping deals and free this and free that. It doesn't affect the price at all. It just says, hey, if a jersey's $100, instead of Fanatics getting $100, they only get $60 or $70. I make a small commission off of it, so it helps your boy. I drop below a Keon White jersey in different forms, Drake Maye jersey in different forms. So if you're going to get a Drake Maye or a Keon White jersey anyway, might as well do it with the link below because it does help your boy out significantly. Also, leave a big like on this video. We have 30 likes right now, 55 of you guys watching, 57 of you guys watching here on YouTube, and another 55 over on Twitter. So shout out to my Twitter gang. Appreciate y'all for following, and make sure you do follow on Twitter. And of course, make sure if you're from Twitter and you're not following on YouTube, that you follow here on YouTube. But guys, before we log off, I do just want to get each of your quick thoughts. And I want to do this after every single kind of post-game stream we do, kind of just recapping on where the Patriots go. Just for reference, this is their remaining schedule. Obviously, first 2 weeks done. Week 3 is going to be on a short week here for both the Patriots and the Jets. New England is going to travel to MetLife Stadium this Thursday to play the in-division rival New York Jets. Obviously, a little bit of a tough outing here. Then you got the San Francisco 49ers on the road. You got the Dolphins, which who knows if Tua's playing or not. And then you also have the Houston Texans, who are a very tough team. So, Rob, let's start with you. What do you think about this kind of next phase for the Patriots schedule here? And how do you feel with your confidence about this team moving forward after the loss today?
I'm still confident. Maybe I'm just delirious, but when the Titans put up 300 yards against the Jets, and people say that the Jets would be lucky to score 10 points on them, I'm sorry. If Will Levis and Tony Pollard puts up that much yards, I'm not really that scared of the Jets. I think they're beatable, definitely beatable, especially when you have a Titans team, which honestly they have the most ancient roster I've ever seen on offense. And Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. I look, man, I don't think that we can't beat them. I think that they're very beatable, especially when you're going to go to MetLife Stadium and anything can happen there.
All right, DTN, let's go on over to you. What do you think about the Patriots stretch here over the next few games?
Yeah, going off of what Rob said about like the Jets are like beatable, there's 100%. I have a couple words for these Jets fans heading for Wednesday on the AFC East Roundtable. If you go check out the AFC East Roundtable, there's a lot of trash talking saying, oh, the Jets are more superior. There's a chance we could have Stevenson running all over the Jets' run defense, just like how Tony Pollard and the backup running back for the 49ers rammed across the Jets' defense. And I think in the Titans
130 yards. 130 yards they gave up on the ground.
I think one defender.
Wow.
I think one defender for the Jets just got injured against the Titans. So
he did. Jermaine Johnson, their star edge defender, also got injured in this game. He was carted off.
So yeah, I know that the turf at MetLife Field is that bad. We have repeatedly owned the Jets at their home. So to Richie and Lowski, wherever you are, I don't want to hear a word out of your mouth saying, oh, the Jets can whoop the Patriots' ass. Your run defense was that abysmal. You couldn't even beat Tony Pollard and put them like less than 100 yards. So watch your mouth for this game, because I'm excited to see this game. And after the Jets game, I know that the flight to the West, it's gonna be a bit chaotic. I know San Francisco is like a good team. I know for a fact that the 49ers team is.
They lost to Sam Darnold today. Let's not overglorify the 49ers. They're beatable too. And I'm not saying that we're going to go and beat them, but like losing to Sam Darnold's carcass, whatever it is, look, man, any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday. Neil, let's go on over to you. What do you think about the final stretch here for the Patriots, and how do you feel about your confidence after today's loss?
Yeah, I'm still confident in the team, bro. I mean, the Jets are a beatable team. San Francisco, yeah, we'll lose to them. Houston, we could beat the Jaguars. Tennessee, we're seeing if you get that quarterback under duress enough, he'll throw some picks. Chicago, of course, with the QB there. If he Rams, we don't know what the hell they are. So we'll get there when we get there. The Dolphins, they don't have Tua. So those are definitely beatable teams. You know what I mean? We have what we have on our offense. We've been getting better and better every week. We used to score 12 to 13 a game last year. Now we're scoring 20 now. We had 16 the first game. And this is not just no fluke teams, which let me go way back before the season started where we weren't even predicted to win any one of these games. We were predicted to get our ass whooped. So we at least won one, made this one freaking close, averaging 18 points a game right now. I don't know. We're getting better and better slowly at what we need to do. The O-line still needs to get fixed, which is definitely a concern at left tackle for sure. 100%. They need to spread the ball more. And the defense, you can't be making those penalties, those big plays you can't give up, but you can't misline people where they're supposed to be. Miscommunication should not happen like that. And please figure out the special teams thing. You can't just let a guy off like that. That's pretty much it. Besides that, bro, these are definitely beatable teams, as I said, besides San Francisco and Texans. And I know Rob disagrees with San Francisco, which is fine. I respect that. But it's all competitive, bro, at this point. 6-7 wins. Maybe you can eke out 8 if you do be consistent enough and figure out that, it's just a left tackle position that's very concerning. How much Jacoby can take and, how much can he do? I mean, he proved that he could run around, so shoot it. But I think we could definitely continue to scale at this point. We could compete, bro. We're not a team that we're going to get beat 10, 14 points a game or more. we're actually making a neck and neck for teams that have weapons on their offense, that have a defense, at least some aspect of a defense, that have pass rushers, that we're able to do this much and still lose Judon, Barmore, and not have KB on the offense or Taki on the defense. I have confidence, PG. I just gonna shout those players out. We don't have that bad talent like we did last year. We got talent this year. We got more talent.
For sure.
Yeah,
Real quick, want to give a shout out to the first donator of today's stream, Diehard Pats fan, coming in with a $10 donation. Appreciate that so much. When you guys donate to the channel, it does significantly help support me, the production here at Patriots Global. It goes a massive, massive long way. Couldn't be here without you guys. So really appreciate everybody who's here, liking, watching, sharing, constantly here, commenting in the comment section below, and especially those of you who donate. It really does mean a lot. But Diehard says, didn't do as well betting this week, but gotta support PG. This is always a bet that brings a win with the great content. Keep it up, guys. Really, really appreciate that. Diehard, always in the chat, always supporting, and that means a lot. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how the Patriots kind of play this game against the in-division rival New York Jets this upcoming Thursday. In-division rival games are always different. It really is any given Sunday when it comes to in-division games, and it's going to be a short week. So this is really going to come down to which coach prepared the best. I don't really think as highly of Robert Saleh as much as I've seen some other people do it. So this is a game the Patriots will 100% be in. This will 100% be a game that the Patriots are in. Game came really, really close with the Jets and Titans today. And look, the Patriots offense ain't great, but I would like to think that it's at least better than the Tennessee Titans. And I think the Patriots defense will be better too. So definitely excited for that game. Real quick, want to give another massive shout out to the sponsors of this channel over at BetUS, guys. Right now, we don't know the exact lines, but I will say this is via BetUS on the website right now. The New England Patriots versus New York Jets for this upcoming Thursday game. The point spread is about 7 points. And I don't know if Jermaine Johnson's out of this game and they're dealing with those injuries as much as they are already. If they can't get Hassan Reddick back in here, then I think the Patriots are going to win this game. And you know what? I'm going to take the Patriots at more than 7. Rob, what do you think? Would you take the Patriots more than 7?
I'm taking the Patriots just about every damn week, if I'm going to be honest with you, just because of what I've seen so far. Like, I think we've been competitive every game, but let us win that game. Watch what I will go off on Jets fans because I know they're in my comment section all the damn time.
I like it. DTM, what do you think? Would you take the Patriots by 7 points, or do you think it'll be closer?
Oh, I would 100% take the New England Patriots plus 7. Also, one more thing before we leave. Week 5, some of these players on the PUP will come back, such as Kendrick Bourne, Sione Takitaki, and Cole Strange. So hopefully we get to see some of our superstars coming back when we play against Miami. So to all these fans who are like giving hope on the Patriots immediately, don't give up hope yet, because there's a lot more football coming out. Be patient. There's a lot more football. But as we get to like the bye week, or maybe like the game against the Colts, Rams, or Dolphins at their stadium at Hard Rock, and we don't see enough progress, then we should press the warning button saying that we need to make some improvements. But it's just week 2, so come on, Patriots.
For sure.
What did Belichick used to say? He said real football is played in November, right? Towards Thanksgiving time. We get to find out what our team is in November. We're still figuring it out. Brand new offensive coordinator, brand new head coach, brand new just about a lot of things. So we'll find out what our team is in November.
Yeah, for sure. Neil, what do you think about this plus 7? You have the Patriots winning by 7 or more, or do you think it'll be by like 7 or less?
I'd take 7 or less, probably. Plus 7 for 7 or less. I'm right there, man. Probably a touchdown we win by, bro. It's gonna be a close game, of course. It's just not the fire crazy offense, but it's gonna be a close game. When once again, it's gonna be ground and pound, and Roger's gonna have a fun day with our D line. Let's just say he's gonna have a real fun day with our D line.
I will say this: Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson don't scare me to the same level of Nick Jigba and DK Metcalf. So I'll say that. And
Lockett, heck no, they definitely don't have the same wide receiver core whatsoever. I love Garrett Wilson, but like at the end of the day, if you can take him away, you can take Breece Hall away. Like
then you're done.
The other receivers.
DK is a cyborg. DK is a cyborg, man.
Yeah, dude.
Lockett still got it.
Yeah, so does JSM. But guys, if you want to place your bets and you think the Patriots will win by 7 or more points, or if you don't think, go ahead and place it via BetUS. Right now, you guys can get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, all the way up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. Again, that is YouTube150. Just sign up for BetUS on their mobile app or their website. Use that promo code, again, YouTube150. And you guys will get that exclusive offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, all the way up to $2,000. But I do agree with this chat too, saying, we're going to win 6 games this year, and that's an improvement. At the end of the day, like me and Rob have said even before the season started, a winning season isn't going to the playoffs. It's not being this dominant team. It's just knowing that you're improving and that you have a future. And if the Patriots can win even 5 games, it's an improvement from last year in year 1 of this rebuild, all these new pieces. So at the end of the day, just have realistic expectations.
There wasn't anything to look forward to last year. There was nothing to look forward to. There's a lot to look forward to.
Exactly. But guys, we appreciate you so much for watching. We will catch you guys next week. I'll catch you guys in a couple of days. Remember to check out the AFC East Roundtable. We're all going to be going at it, talking about our games from the division over on the Autograph app. Just download the Autograph app, create your free account, and we'll be on there at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we will be on the AFC East Roundtable here on YouTube, talking about the game previewing week 3. Yeah, what's up, Neil?
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead,
People need to remember last year, we were never this smooth. We were choppy every single step of the way. Offense, defense, special teams. We were nothing like this. The fact that we could at least consistently develop a flow to even get a field goal and some touchdowns should say a lot and just have some hope. I'm not saying we're a 9-win team or a playoff team, but 6, 7, 8 is on the table. Just relax. Hang on tight.
I agree, man. I agree. Well, guys, we appreciate you so much for watching. We'll see these guys. Well, actually, it's not even next weekend. We're playing a short week. So Thursday, we will be back. We'll be back for our live watch parties. We'll be back for the post games, all the great stuff. We'll see Patreon members. As usual, you just see us a couple days sooner than you usually do. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. I swear I recorded my record prediction video. It's just about getting it out. So now I actually have to do that.
I won't be here Thursday.
Yeah, Rob won't be here Thursday. Rob has some stuff that he has to do, but we'll see Rob the following week when we play, I want to say, the 49ers on the following Sunday. So we'll see Rob back here soon, but the Patreon members, they'll be back here on Thursday. Your boy's still doing watch parties Thursday, still doing the full 9 as I always do. So I can't wait to see you guys here. Remember to join our live watch parties at the start of each Patriots game, live on Bleacher Report after, and then after Bleacher Report, live back here on YouTube to break down the game. Subscribe to this channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Check out Rob. Hold up. Make sure I get your Instagram out here because I can try to explain it, but I know some people are visual. Make sure to follow Rob right here on Insta. Best damn Patriots content on Instagram. Updates, highlights, especially statistics. Rob has you covered for all these statistics. I use them myself, guys. Please go ahead. Show some love to Rob. Comment on his Insta. Tell him Patriots Global sent you. Tell him you found him on YouTube. But seriously, he has the best damn work over on Instagram. So go ahead and check him out. Without further ado, though, we will see you guys very, very shortly. Keep in touch with each other, man. Pats Nation, we got to group together, good and bad. We got to regrow this community. The Patriots are on the rise. I promise you that. Love you all so much, and we'll see you soon. Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Go Pats, baby.